Here we are. The Scorpion King has been watched for the 37th time in a row. Welcome to the Sting of Time. I am
Well,
Rubbish.
I'm Oskar.
Well, I'm technically, I guess, Leeloo here, but I'm also Rubbish.
It's weird to hear you say Leeloo, like that, because in the real world it's Lilo, like in Lilo.
Yes, but I feel like you are Oskar here, and
Yeah,
generally not Oskar.
yeah, it's weird. Um, Today was a bit different because uh, it's interesting because we watched it with some graphical
Yeah, I'm gonna just
adjustments.
say that the things we did to the movie are totally irrelevant,
Yes,
and we shouldn't even
absolutely.
talk about them. Fuck it,
Okay,
who
I will
cares?
not talk about them.
Yeah,
We did something to the movie we're not going to talk
yeah,
about because it was so irrelevant. Nobody cares.
yes.
What was a bit different was that we did not immediately start the podcast after we watched the movie because I was starving to death and had to eat something
Yes.
before I could appear to talk about the Scorpion King. So it has actually been like about 45 minutes ish since we watched the movies and right now, which is the
I think
first time, I think.
I think we might have had 45 minutes between before, but this I think is the first time we've had 45 minutes where we both have gone our separate ways.
Mm.
Because I think you could possibly count 45 minutes, something like that, before we started recording in the woods.
That's true, absolutely. But yeah, uh, that's the way of things presently in the land. Uh, we talked quite a bit about a lot of things that are disappearing from my memory actively as I speak because of
Um,
this break.
I think in general, a recurring thing for this watch was the fact that we both thought the exact same thoughts the entire movie.
Yes, that's true. Yes, there's any time that you said something like I think it was when I said something too at some point, but
Yes.
it was you would say something like have you noticed that that one girl in the background in this scene? And I was just going to say that. I was just about to say that for a lot of things, like at least like 4 or 5 different things. It felt like maybe 4
Yes.
things.
I think let's see if I can recall some of them. There was the girl in the background where right before Chessman gets stabbed.
Mm.
It was the camel beard.
Camel's beard.
It was the hot shots guy getting thrown
Hmm.
off the ledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, there were definitely more things.
Yes,
But I
but
think we started counting them after the Thorak harem chase scene, because we
mm,
talked about about Dwayne seething about the fact that Black Adam isn't doing well.
yeah, yeah. I read like an article, so like some kind of like a clickbait article thing that was like Dwayne Johnson tweets in the middle of the night trying to debunk the fact that Black Adam is not the most popular movie in the world. Is he unhinged or whatever? I might be slightly misremembering what the article was called, but
Mm. I think the
and
movie is losing money though,
yeah.
so I'm gonna get to
Uh,
your level here.
oh wow, hello.
Hey,
I'm always glad to see you rise in the world
yes,
to even such lofty heights as mine. But yeah, uh, and therefore we spent a lot of the or some time of the watch was spent discussing Dwayne a bit in uh, in ways that have not always been how we talk about Dwayne. And it
no, I don't. I don't think that's interesting either. Who cares?
okay,
Fuck Dwayne.
we
Fuck
didn't we
him.
didn't We talked about Dwayne, but nobody will know what we said.
Yes. I don't think there was anything pertinent there.
No, that's true.
It's funny that Black Adam is doing poorly, especially considering. Well, it's kind of interesting. Now I'm actually going to talk about Dwayne. I'm getting some feedback from your earphones, but
I have no idea why I'm doing these things.
No, I think maybe you could lower the volume of it, but whatever. It is sort of interesting that DC not only, they kind of suck at making money, presumably, in terms of movies. Yeah. I don't think they have been doing that well, but hasn't the Marvel strat always been to like go very heavy on like pick a superhero people know and then cast a sort of nobody cares about because the movie, the draw is Captain America or Spider-Man, not
who plays them.
Yeah, not insert a person named Chris. And then they did the complete opposite here. Who fucking cares about Black Adam?
Yeah.
I think most people I know of didn't even know Black Adam was a character before in Just Ass, and then they barely know afterwards.
I had no idea Black Adam was a character before in Just Ass, and I also feel it needs to be said that, like, from my point of view, and I am by no means like a comic head or whatever. Like I don't know how to put it, but like I don't read a lot of like comics, like superhero comics or Marvel or DC or whatever. But to me, it seems like there's a lot more, even before Marvel became movie Marvel and that sort of thing. I feel like there was a lot more in the public, like mind, the hive mind or whatever of the public, that more Marvel characters were, known to people, with the exclusion, obviously, of like Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
And then like as far as like the extended character gallery of the DC universe is just like completely, what the fuck are you talking about to the average person? Like who the fuck is
Gorilla Grodd? Or
like who the fuck is Dr. Fate?
Yeah.
Who is Walter Melandra? Like all that kind of stuff. It's completely, nobody knows who these people are.
Yeah, it's like Batman and his rogues gallery, right? So like the Joker, but I guess they have done movies about those characters and they haven't worked, but those characters people know Superman and like Wonder Woman, maybe.
I was gonna say like when you think about like the Justice League, I would go so far as to say, I mean, sure, now there's been allegedly.
I'll go out and say that nobody knows who the fuck Hawkgirl is.
I gotta stop doing this. Gotta give me some room. But I was gonna say that, like, Martian Manhunter, Hawkgirl, I'll say it, fucking Green Lantern. Nobody knows who the fuck Green Lantern is. If you go and ask your grandpa or whatever, like, oh hey grandpa, what do you think about Green Lantern? He'll be like, what is that name?
What always bothered me about Green Lantern, because I don't really know who Green Lantern is, or like historically I haven't really known much about Green Lantern. I know that there is a guy named Green Lantern. It always bothered me that Green Lantern has been like 7 people, and it's like, oh, do you like the Hal Jordan Green Lantern, or do you like the
who the fuck is Hal Jordan?
Who are these people?
And the worst thing, like, now that you said that, it's like, who's your favorite Batman? Because it's like the Bat family.
Yeah, but that's not that's. I feel like that's extended Giga lore. While
I guess.
While the Green Lantern is just
I don't know the name of anyone in the Bat family. I like, if you press me on it, maybe I would be able to remember. Like,
I think there's a guy named Dick Grayson.
Yeah, it's funny because his name is Dick, and like that's the extent of it.
The penis man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But never mind all that. You wrote down.
Yeah,
something.
I wrote down something. Okay, so we talked a bit. Jesus, this is bright. we talked a bit, or well, I should say, you mentioned that because I brought up the fact that I booked a guest, and
Mm.
I am sort of in the process of booking people for the podcast, and not
Yes.
booking people who we both know. I'm just booking
No.
people.
We're scrambling like anyone.
Yes.
Anyone that want to be on the podcast, please appear. Doesn't matter
So
who you are.
I mentioned I booked someone, and then you um sort of focus attack dash cancel that into you talking about how it would have been so great to have had anyone that's worked on the movie on the
Mm.
podcast just one time. So I figured we could talk through 3 questions about that topic.
Yes.
Uh, and I figured we do them in sort of descending order. So the start is, what would be your dream get for the podcast? If we could get anyone, who would you want from the Scorpion King? Or that is Sting adjacent in some way, I guess. We can sort of.
Mm. Well, we have talked. The obvious one that we have talked about in the past is that we would have loved to have Stephen Brand
Yeah.
on the podcast, and I feel inclined to stick with that because I feel like Stephen Brand would that is Memnon's actor. I feel like Stephen Brand would have a lot, of interesting things to say about the production, and he could also help us, clear up a lot of things like about stunt related, and also I would love to hear what he thinks about our interpretation of Memnon's
Oh, yeah,
character.
yeah, that would be
That
great.
that would be like he probably wouldn't find it that interesting, but it would be infinitely interesting to me. Like if
Yeah,
what
just
he
to
would,
hear what he says.
yeah, like
What's the
because
answer?
I don't have any illusions over him having like some kind of like here's always how I interpret it, blah, 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 like because I think he just kind of
No,
went
yeah,
with
he
it. So like
probably forgot.
yeah, he doesn't even know who Memnon is, like that sort of thing. But I want to give him our interpretation and then see if that awakens anything in
Yeah.
Stephen Brand about it, like the sort of that sort of
Mm.
energy. So Stephen Brand, I would say, absolutely.
I thought a little bit about this because I wrote the questions, so I got to
Mm,
think about them.
yes.
And I sort of, I think I landed on Stephen Brand as well. I was thinking either Stephen Brand or Theoden King.
Mm,
And one of them I felt was like, well, Stephen Brand is a more Scorpion King get
yeah.
than
Because if we got Bernard Hill,
yeah.
it would be it would just be like, wow, here's Bernard Hill, who is a super actor who has been in lots of truly great things like Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. Who it would be like, hey Bernard Hill, talk to us about Scorpion King.
Well, I don't care about that part. I just feel like it's more in line with the Sting of Time to get Stephen Brand. He's
well,
like a bigger get than Bernard Hill.
yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, but I just figured,
I think I could keep our conversation to the Scorpion King. I don't know if he'd want to do that. I feel like Bernard Hill probably absolutely doesn't remember much. But on the flip side, I'm still with you that it's probably Stephen Brand is the pick. But on the flip side, I feel like Bernard Hill would probably be way more open to like openly talk about the Scorpion King, because I feel like Stephen Brand, he's a British dude. I feel like he's, there's a risk that he would be very reserved and just want to,
yeah,
talk very apologetically about the movie.
Yeah, he would be way too professional, maybe.
But then again, if we had him on, in this scenario, maybe we wouldn't be too crass. Maybe we would be like,
well, maybe
talk as fans of the work.
I can't promise that. I think I would be my usual unhinged self. So
okay, so the dream get for the podcast is obviously Stephen Brand, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the second question. You have to lower your expectations. We're jumping a rung down. It's not necessarily a realistic yet, but there's a chance we could get this. Who is the person you go for? Who's the person we guess that you feel like it could possibly happen? If
From
we really
who
went
was
for it.
involved in
Yeah,
Scorpion King.
someone. It could be someone who stars in the movie, but like,
Well, in that sense, like if we become a bit more realistic about it,
yeah,
we
you
have
don't
this.
have to be super realistic, but like,
No. I trust me. I am the appropriate level of realistic
yeah, okay,
here.
good.
We have. It has come up in the past when we have discussed this kind of thing that Tutu is someone that we for a second and a half like considered like we should write to
Yeah,
all grown up Tutu and ask him if he wants to be on the podcast. I'm not sure now that I think about it, if this counts as appropriately realistic, because he is from what we could gather, he is a real person who does real things
yeah,
like music
yeah. He
production.
became a
Yeah,
music producer. He's not an
exactly.
actor.
So it's a bit too successful and well adjusted for
Well,
these lands.
I don't know about that. He doesn't have a lot of credits. I'm
Oh,
not
okay,
sure he's a successful music producer.
that's
But
true.
or maybe he doesn't produce music for movies, but on IMDb he's not like.
Well, yeah, but one could also argue that the more we discuss whether he is actually successful or not might lower the realistic chances of him appearing on the podcast if
Yeah,
he
that's true.
watches us talk about him in such a manner.
Well,
So
he's very welcome to come on the podcast and
yes,
clear
absolutely.
this up.
Yes,
We're
that would
not
be
making like
no, no,
judgment call here. We're just,
no.
fiddling
We
around.
are extremely open-minded in
Yes.
these lands, and we never judge anyone for
No.
any reason. So there is that. But yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily say Tutu just because of that.
No.
I think like more realistically, let's see. I know who I would like on the podcast, and I'm not sure it would be like valuable to the Stingian agenda or that sort of thing, but I would really like this one still lives on the podcast. I feel that guy would be like realistic, like because I can imagine that guy being like just some guy, like maybe
Yeah.
not even maybe an actor, but like say, okay, we need extra soldiers, like either just an extra and or like someone who worked on the movie in some capacity, and it's like, hey, you can get a little cameo, you can say this one still lives, and you get to wear the soldier uniform or like that sort of thing. uh, so yeah, I would like that guy on
Yeah.
Sting, and
So the guy coming into Memnon's tent carrying Jessup, and he's the guy on the right.
yes, on Jessup's right.
Yes. No, he's on Jessup's left, I think.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes,
I think
I've
he
seen the movie
isn't he
37
on
times.
whatever. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like, well, whatever. If I'm right, I'm putting something here. If I'm wrong, I'm cutting this out. And I would probably try. Mine is way less realistic than yours. I feel like I would really try for Chestman, because Chestman feels to me like someone who is definitely like C-list, but also definitely C-list in the way that he's probably very, he has had enough attention put on him at points in his life that he's probably, kind of starved for it at this point, and he's kind of going for it. So like if we contacted him and we're like, oh, we're a podcast, we talk about Scorpion King, we're a real fan of your character, we have all these, blah, 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 could you please come and talk about the and we also we love Quan Chi. I don't know. I feel like it's possible that we get like 20 minutes of Chess Man, or if he wasn't on the podcast, maybe we could at least get like a a cameo sort of style thing where he
Mm.
just like talked to a camera and said, "Oh, here's a
Hello, Sting of Time.
yeah."
This is Just Man. So glad to see the project. I'm great that you love the character, my unnamed character, like that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So I think that's what I would gun
Mm.
for. Like if I were to sit down and truly try, maybe I'd go for Chest Man.
Yeah.
He's also very findable, which is good.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think I would agree with that over my pick. That's a good pick. Uh,
But there's a
I,
third question before
well,
if
never mind
you
then.
so
Yes.
we can move on to that. So the third one is a rung lower, which is
Mm.
just like, what do you think is actually possible?
Was this why you heightened yourself
Yes,
on the camera because
I
we
want to
were
show.
going to
Yeah, we're gonna go
except we're
down.
going to such a low
Yeah,
ground.
what is the actual possible? And you sort of answered this already because I feel like we could possibly get this one still lives.
Mm.
Though I still feel like
Yes,
that would
but
be like a bit of a
I will
gamble.
reconsider it from the perspective of the question as asked this time.
Yes, but the question is, who do you think? Like, if you look, let's say we were aiming for having someone episode 47 or something. So in 10 weeks, we have 10 weeks to sit down, or 9, I guess, to try and really get someone. What does your mind's eye see? We get someone. We definitely get someone in 9 weeks from the movie. Who is it? Who is it actually? What's really gonna happen if we do this?
I keep thinking about who I want, not but it's not about who I want now. Because I wanted to say I want Forak on the podcast, but he's a bit too famous, I think. So
Yeah, I think you're.
that would be incredible.
Yes,
That would be
dude, that would
truly
yes.
great. I would have so much to talk to Forak about.
Oh my god! Can't you leave me alone?
Can't you leave me alone, Forak? But okay, let's see. Oh, here's a wild card. What about if we got? But that I'm thinking a bit like that we would get like one of the harem girls or something.
Mm.
But I also feel like maybe like most of those people are just like models or whatever, so they
They're
don't want to
probably
be
not
on.
models anymore.
Oh, that's a good point.
Has
That's a bit
been.
related to the things we talked about that we wouldn't talk about, like how I do not understand that Dwayne is old in the real world
Yeah.
because I just see Dwayne in Scorpion King, so Dwayne is like 18 or whatever to me. But yeah, realistically get it's hard. Yeah, I have a hard time with serious questions like this. It's maybe we could get. No, I bet Ferran is like a real actor
I think
too.
he's dead.
Oh, yeah, all right. I already forgot that this movie is 5 million years old, even though I said it 5 seconds ago. Well, I'm drawing a bit of a blank. Maybe you can go first, and I'll be inspired.
I've been thinking about because I thought in like because we're generally gonna go for actors, I think, because it's kind of weird to go after someone in the credits. Even though I feel like it might be like
Oh, now I know someone.
like this amount of possible to get at least like a mention from David Hayter because he seems very unhinged. But I think I settled on the kids. Trying to find the kids, the street urchins or the dates kid, because he's gonna be like
Thanks.
20 something maybe.
Yeah.
Like no, he's probably like our age. He's probably like 30-ish. 30. No, yeah, it's 2002 and
I'm
he's like
terrible.
9.
I am absolutely awful in like I cannot tell what age
Yeah. I
like
think he's
children
about
are.
30, right? So he would be our age.
Mm.
Somewhere around our age. And I don't think those kids went on to do great things movie-wise. I'm just gonna go
Well,
out there.
they really start out doing great things, considering, you know.
No, but I don't think any one of them are like
Yeah.
super known. So
Um,
I'd go
I
for
was
one of the urchins.
I was going to say, but I said that, but then I remembered that I think this guy, I don't remember exactly what what he is, who he is from, but I think he's when we watched the behind the director commentary of Russell.
Yeah.
I just say Russell because I forget what his other name is, Chuck Russell or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, when the guy who gets starred in the head
Yeah.
at the very start of the movie, like
Dave.
he's yeah, he's some kind of like part of the production or whatever, who just had like a cameo role. But like I was gonna say we could get him, but then I remember that he's actually, you know, probably
Yeah, he's yeah,
some
I
real kind of
mean
real
yeah,
person. So
considering he was in charge enough in 2002, he's probably like a studio executive at this
yeah,
point.
exactly. Yeah, probably has like a million stars in his head by
Yes.
now. So
And no
uh,
eyes. All stars, no eyes.
yeah. I know. I know who we could realistically get. You said the street urchin. There's one we should get. I want, or rather, we could get Gods be praised, kid,
Oh. Yeah, that's
because that
possible.
yeah. I don't know where the
We'd
convers.
have to find him.
Yeah, he should be credited, right? Because
Yes.
he has a speaking role.
Yeah, he has to be, right. I think you're credited even without having
Yeah.
speaking roles. I did check before when I was writing the question, by the way. Do you know what the actual title is given to Chessman? Because we talked about something, you mentioned something in the movie about like, what do you think he does? Like, what do you
Mm,
think the difference is? And his
yeah.
title sort of,
He, well, isn't he like a general
yeah, he's
or
the
yeah?
doubting general.
Doubting General. Doubting General sounds like a One Piece special move or something.
We might be able. Here's one that
Okay.
we might be able to swing, possibly. And I don't know what I base this on. I base it on just how this person looks and how she talks. I feel like we could possibly swing the Greek barmaid.
Ah, yes, absolutely. That would be really interesting, actually.
Yeah,
I would be down for that.
yeah. I'd love to hear her thoughts on her character, the
Yeah, I
scenes.
I'd love to hear, you know, some behind the stage lore on the obvious, you know, fact that the market scenes were filmed at the same time as the ending, like the climactic, you know, victory in the city scene where you have all of the like market stand merchants or
Yeah.
whatever in the crowd, and it's just those people. So you can tell that they just, you know, dim the lights, it's the movie's over now, next scene, like that sort of thing.
I think IMDb has contact info on people,
Well, what are you
but
waiting
I
for?
think you might have to pay for it if I
Oh,
remember correctly. I think you need IMDb Pro.
maybe we should limit it to people that we do not have to pay for to find out everything, all of their, you know, information.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe
So,
she has a Twitter. Who knows? Her
just
name
tweet.
is Michelle Benet. Ah, no, doesn't seem like it. we know Tutu Sweeney has one,
Yes.
but no activity from Tutu since 2017. But maybe.
Well, if anything's gonna bring someone out of social media hiding, it's invitation to I almost said Hogwarts to to appear on the Sting of Time. Imagine how infinitely more like cool Harry Potter would be if instead of getting an invitation to become a lame wizard somewhere in a setting that doesn't make sense, he would get a letter that was like, please appear on our podcast for well, I guess Scorpion King wasn't released when Harry Potter takes place because it's like in the
No,
early 90s or whatever.
I think it's in 90. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but it could be for like, I don't know, fucking Tarzan or something. I don't know. Like a podcast talking about some 60s Tarzan movie or whatever and how much we hate it
Do you want to know
in the
something
90s.
based before we end this podcast?
Mm.
I read today that JRR, no, not GRR,
No,
GRRM, sorry,
yeah, exactly.
GRRM was asked at some point by an interviewer if Aragorn were to duel Jamie, who would win? And GRRM went, oh, I think Jamie would probably take the duel home. A fucking post-human, literal Captain America with Elven Gigasword versus a guy who fucks his sister.
Yeah, well, we all know what the real question is. The real question is who would win between Elendil and Ellen Steele.